Hi, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today's going to be a twin flame reading. We're going to have masculines on the left, feminines on the right, and the union energies down the center. Okay, Spirit, for the masculine collective, what are they confronting? What are the blocks? What are the solutions to those blocks? What do we need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? Okay, we have spiritual career in reverse for the masculines. Anything else for masculines? Okay, pride in reverse, and we have completion and forgiveness. Oof, okay. Just going to leave that there. Let me get the feminines out. Anything for feminines? Yes, we have patience in reverse, and we have relationship change in reverse. Yeah, it's funny. I started recording a collective reading and it was so intense I couldn't even read, so I bailed and decided to do a twin flame reading. And there's some of this energy showing up now. And for union energies. Creativity in reverse. Okay, so collectively we're having a crisis of confidence. That sounds dramatic, but let me just see what else we got here. Creativity, individuality. We have surrender, and we have new beginnings in reverse. Yeah, it's understandable why union is being stalled right now. Hold on, I need to get organized. Okay. All right, let me start from union and work our way out. Union is being stalled right now because we are having a crisis of confidence across the board. We are coming into integration and embodiment of our hero's journey. We're learning what it means to be an individual. We're learning what our own sovereignty means to us. We're learning what that sovereignty looks like in our own 3D life. Not the textbook definition of sovereignty, but what true embodied power over oneself feels like in a somatic sense, in a somatic lived experiential sense of sovereignty. We're learning to surrender to what we truly desire, not what we think the other one would want, not what we would think we're supposed to do or what we should do, what our boss wants us to do, what our parents want us to do, but true sovereign awareness around what would support this next chapter of our life. What do we really desire? What do we really want? What seeds do we want to sow in this new earth? It makes sense that this new beginning is a little stalled right now, because why would we take another step if we didn't know which direction we were going in? Why would we take another step to work on something that we are not 100% embodied hell yes to? Okay, now, it's so weird to me because I almost feel like the feminine and masculine polarity is like mirroring one another, or almost should be reversed. But let me sink in, because it's almost like, sometimes I look at the readings or I feel the readings and they come through very clearly. Other times it's like I'm looking at them through a kaleidoscope and I'm like seeing all these moving parts and I'm putting them together and which part goes with what story and what's happening. And I'm getting a little bit of that now, but I'm also so drawn to the Merkaba. But when I look at these Merkabas, I almost see them in an energetic way spinning, like constantly rotating in every direction possible. And that's, for me, that's a symbol of like life force, like really present, like a churning of the soul. Okay, let me look at these feminine, masculine messages. Yeah, I mean, okay. Let me just look at what's in the unconscious. Health in reverse. I'm going to put that aside. We'll talk about that after. Feminines are confronting the same things they've been confronting for a very long time. Self-worth and worthiness issues. Trying to Feminines, you need to have more patience with all of these moving parts. You need to have more patience with allowing all of these wonderful seeds that you have planted to grow. This patience is what will bring about your happy ending. It's not something you can force. It's not something you can, push yourself into. This is something that you are being called to be present with. This is something you are being called to surrender to. Whatever's going on at this stage of your journey, you're being asked to be present with it. I hit my little twinkly sound things. Okay. I'm not going to say more for feminines right now. Let's move on to masculines. Masculines, let me see. We have spiritual career, pride, and forgiveness in reverse. Masculines, you have unfinished business. There's something that needs to come into completion, and forgiveness is blocking that. Forgiveness is also blocking you from stepping into your spiritual career, whatever that means. This could be in 3D, this could be in your own heart. This is dense. Masculines, it's time you take a look at how pride or fear of image, fear of looking a certain way, fear of, what people would think, what you're going to look like, fear of being seen in your truth, fear of being vulnerable. It's time to really take accountability and take inventory of all the moments where pride has interrupted your truth, or pride has kept... okay. I'm sorry. This is a very messy message. I'm trying to clean it up and put it in a nice little package with a bow on top. That's not always possible. Masculines, your pride is preventing you from stepping into forgiveness of self and other. It's preventing you from stepping towards this divine inner wisdom. The other meaning for me when I see this spiritual career is that you could be, masculines, you could be so brilliant in the realm of 5D, in the energetic realm, you could have so much access to this wisdom, but the biggest thing that's blocking wisdom is your pride. Why? Because pride often tells us stories. Our ego tells us stories that if we are vulnerable, we are not lovable. If we are vulnerable and we share our truth, our darker truth, then we are not worthy of stepping towards this, whatever completion cycle you have that's present in your life, masculines. This is a messy, do you hear the reading? It even sounds messy. It's coming out of my mouth messy. It's just, the energies feel so like, have you ever played Tetris and you just you have a bad level where none of the pieces fit and it gets messy really quick, and then, you die or the level expires because all the pieces got to the top, and that's how it feels. It's like none of the pieces are fitting. The clock is ticking. There's all this pressure, right? There's something here about really surrendering to your own process, surrendering to that which is blocking your own self-love, your own worthiness, stepping in and claiming your individuality so that you can usher in this new beginning. Okay, I don't like this reading at all. I don't like the vibe. It feels choppy and weird, and let's get some more information. Let's see where we go. Let's get some of these. What do we need to... Okay. Follow your intuition. Okay. Anything else? New beginnings. And I'm going to leave it sideways. Look at that. A second new beginnings card. What does it say, though? Yeah, begin your new life. Yeah, but it came out sideways. Anytime, another way to look at a card when it comes out sideways, I almost look at it like a scale. And it's like, okay, we have to try to somehow come into balance or choose which side we want to put more weight on. That's sort of how I look at cards sometimes. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Choices, make the best choices. And then we have dolphin, don't worry, be happy in reverse. Yeah, it's hard to be light and non-attached when we are struggling with some density. It's also hard to be light and unattached when we are struggling with worthiness. If we don't think we're worthy, it makes it much. Here's the thing. Okay, I just did readings for my sister and my niece last night, and something that came out in those readings is this whole thing about intuition. Let me give you a life hack, trapdoor, escape route or shortcut to this, to intuition. When you build your self-esteem, you build your intuition. When you love yourself enough to believe the instincts that are moving through your body, the somatic experience, the somatic cues that your body and energy system are telling you, your gut feelings, your instincts, you are more confident in accessing and taking action on your intuition. So when you have access to your self-esteem, when you work on your self-esteem, you work on your intuition. When you work on your intuition, you have access to wise discernment. Wise discernment is so important because as we navigate this world, you are going to be presented with a smorgasbord of options. It is up to you and only you to discern which choices are the most resonant for you. No one is in your body. No one can feel. Your parents can give you a bunch of advice and tell you what they think the best decision is, but only you can identify if that's a full embodied hell yes. Is that a fully resonating? Do you come alive? Is the frequency strong? Does it excite you? Are you present with this idea or this goal or this choice? This is why discernment is so important, because if you do not have access to your own discernment, then the world is going to choose for you. And of course, most of the time, those things are not a hell yes. They're not a resonating hell yes. Oh my God, look what I just got sideways. Intuition, trust your intuition. I'm going to put this here. Yeah, there's almost, like I said, I started the reading saying there's a crisis of confidence. Let me just feel into that for a moment. Here's the thing, feminines and masculines. Sometimes we're so used to on this path, we're so used to confronting things. We're so used to looking the problem in the eye and peeling back the layers. And if you've been a seeker for a long time, this is probably, a regular Tuesday for you, or a regular day of the week where you're something stimulates you, you peel back the layers to seek understanding, to learn more about yourself, and then you understand more, and then you implement that in your life, right? This is the process. This is the process that from beginning of our lives to the end of our lives, we will have to do in one form or another. Now, because we're so used to that hefty pace, this path of consciousness, this path of to illumination and enlightenment is not for the faint of heart. We're working. We are never not working. However, because of our rigorous pace, when there are times of calm, when there are times of neutrality, when there are times of peace, it might start to feel like chaos. You might start to feel like anxious or paranoid because there's not movement, right? And so you're being asked to get comfortable in this piece, to really trust the intuition that there might be no work for you to do. There might be nothing for you to clean up. There might be no more awarenesses you're supposed to, discover in this moment. I'm not saying forever. I'm just saying sometimes we need space around all of this knowledge and all of this wisdom so that we can integrate what we've discovered thus far. Anything else, Spirit? Wow, this is a choppy reading. I feel like I'm struggling. I hope the points are coming across, but it's a lot. You know what? Okay. Thank you, Spirit. I understand now. So the reason that the reading is so choppy and uncomfortable is because we are choppy and uncomfortable. It's what I was saying. We are not used to just sitting in our house, sipping tea and letting the opening all the windows and doors and just allowing life to blow through. We're not used to that. We're used to having to go to the door to let certain things in and let certain things out. And does this align with me? Where do I need a boundary? How do I implement the boundary? We're so used to micromanaging all of these different frequencies. But we are being asked to sit back in our seat and kind of enjoy this wu wei path, this effortless action or non-action. So again, sink into that visual. Open all your windows, open all your doors. Sit at your kitchen table, sipping your tea, being present with yourself and your tea, and just let whatever's blowing through blow through your life. There's open doors and open windows. Things, people, ideas can come in and they can also leave. This is not a time for you to micromanage these teeny tiny ideas, thoughts, frequencies. Yeah, we have resilience, rise above tribulations, but it came out in reverse. This is not a time to fight. This is not a time to, gain more battle wounds. This is a time to surrender. Remember, sip your tea and stay grounded and rooted in the seat of the soul. Anything else? Oops, sorry, I'm hitting the cameras. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Whew, okay, we got a bunch. Let's see. We have leadership, set your goals. That's interesting. That came out after what I just said. Move forward, get ready for positive change. And then we have in reverse knowledge, seek knowledge. Okay. That's interesting to me. So you can set a goal and then have nothing to do with it. So part of moving forward and getting ready for change is more so priming your nervous system to be able to handle what comes next, be it trials, tribulations, success, failures, creativity, relationships, whatever comes next. But your main goal, feminines and masculines right now, is to cultivate an inner, I was about to say inner smile. I think that's I forget what concept that is. I don't know if it's Zen or Buddhist but I've heard that before. Cultivating this inner smile, this inner peace, this inner way of showing up in the world that's humble and soft and tender. How can you sink into just 10% more tenderness with the world around you? Let me just see what's in the unconscious position. We have animal bonds, stand up for all animals. Yeah, when this comes up in a reading, for me, this is our inner animal. This is our animal body, meaning our instinctual primitive self. So when it says stand up for all animals, stand up for the truth that your instinctual somatic system, it's so funny. I feel like I've said somatic 100 times and I really never talk about that, but a lot of my work is in somatic body work, learning how to regulate the nervous system in moments of dis-ease, in moments of dysregulation, activation, triggers, trauma. So it's very interesting this is coming up right now. But again, what if there's nothing to fix? Came up in a reading I did last night for someone. I told them, I said, why don't you put on a sticky note, what if there's nothing to fix, and stick it on your bathroom mirror? And anytime your monkey mind wants to go towards solving a problem or trying to fix something, what if there's nothing to fix? Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Thank you, Spirit, for being with me, but I have to be honest, this reading is very weird. Anything else you want to share with us, Spirit? Anything else you want us to look into? What would support this individuality? What would support this sovereignty? What would support this unconditional love? We have child. Yeah. Anything else? This says strong boundaries. Absolutely. Okay. Am I taking all of these? Sure, why not? Okay. So before I'm not even going to look at this stack, like this big stack. I'm not going to look at it yet. I felt this coming on. I felt inner child work coming on because oftentimes when we have confidence, self-esteem, or worthiness issues, I'm going to venture out and be bold enough to say 9 out of 10 times those issues stem from something we picked up in childhood, some message, some experience we had that told us that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy enough, that we have to perform to earn our keep on the planet, to earn our spot, to deserve to be here. And so you are being called, feminines and masculines, to have profound boundaries around the work that you do. You're being called to parent your inner child. What does that mean? What does a parent do for a child? Well, what should a parent do for a child? A parent should create safety so that child can grow up in a peaceful environment, because the world around us is not a peaceful place. And so the parent creates a safe space so that the child can go through their different rites of passage and in a safe way, in a way that helps them build confidence and trust in themselves and the world around them. Okay, now let's look at these cards. We have reversals, but I'm not going to take them in this deck. We have fertility, we have abundance. To me, those are very similar cards. We have good luck, and then we have heartfelt apology. Okay, where should I put these? Let me put these here. There's so many threads coming off of these messages. The heartfelt apology, Spirit, say more. Okay. This entire reading feels like a very internal reading. This is not a building. This is not an excavating. This is not a, let's turn over more stones in our psyche kind of reading. To me, this is like, how can we show up with even more peace to what's present in our lives? Now, think about an apology. Think about when someone feels the need to apologize. What's going through their hearts and minds? Maybe they feel really badly that they harmed someone they care about or harmed anyone. Maybe they feel badly or scared that they might lose someone or lose out on a situation or experience because they've caused harm. Feminines and masculine, this is a call to a deeper accountability. This came out in, what reading did I just do? Was it the masculine reading yesterday? I can't even remember. It's only been a day. This came out, I think, yesterday, of when we love ourselves enough, when we have a critical mass of self-esteem and self-confidence, we have a greater access and let me use a psychology term, we have a greater window of tolerance to hold uncomfortable things, including uncomfortable truths about self. So when you are more confident, it's easier to look at the, not so great parts of ourselves, the shadowy parts. And because you have more confidence to look and hold these maybe darker truths about yourself, you have a greater tolerance to hold this abrasion, to hold this adversity, to hold this discomfort. Because you're holding more discomfort, you have a greater capacity for awareness. Your consciousness has space to grow when you have more confidence and self-esteem. Because of all that confidence and self-esteem, you can honestly look at your own behaviors and see where you've misstepped, see where you've harmed others, see and reflect on your own wants, needs, desires, actions of previous times. You are in this space, feminines and masculines. You are in this fertile, abundant space of consciousness. I used the example of sowing seeds earlier. When you sow, you've heard the phrase, you reap what you sow. The seeds that you plant are directly correlated with what you will be able to harvest come harvest season. Now, what are you planting? Are you planting anything? Or are you living off the harvest of other people? So you are being called to a deeper accountability with what seeds you are sowing. Now, I was just telling the person I did a reading for yesterday, in so many of my decks, there's always a good luck card. And it always annoys me because I don't really believe in good luck. I believe in energy anatomy. I believe in intention. I believe that we are in control of energy and it's up to us to captain that ship. And so we create our own luck that is birthed through our very micro specific intentions that we set. So are you setting intentions in your life? Are intentions even like a word in your world? Is it time to be a little bit more present with that part of the creation process? Okay, another message here is that you're worthy enough to set intentions. Oh God, this came out in my reading I did yesterday for a personal reading. So much insecurity is rising on the planet, and I think that happens because there are, when there's a battle going on, warriors start to wake up. And the warrior in all of us, I think, is waking up because it's testing our resolve. It's testing the parts of self that have to go do hard things. And so, of course, our self-esteem, our third chakra, our solar plexus is being rattled right now because the planet is saying, okay, what are you made of? What do you stand for? What are you doing in this life? What do you want to do? Where's your heart's deepest desires? What excites you? What turns you on? What is the thing that you can't stop doing or thinking about or learning about? It's like the universal consciousness is shaking us. Like, wake up. What do you want to do here? What's blocking you? Just take care of it. Time to clean it up. Why are you waiting? Nothing could be as scary as missing out on your lifetime. Nothing can be as scary as missing out on your deepest truth, on living your soul's deepest expression of itself. Okay, that got a little passionate. I'm all fired up. Let me see where we want to go. Spirit, where do we want to go? Yeah, okay. All right. I feel very physically uncomfortable with this reading. I just want to name this out loud because there's always information in what moves through my body, and I just wanted to. Again, it's like somebody gives you a puzzle to put together, but none of the pieces fit. It's like a very frustrating, uncomfortable feeling. It's just like so much abrasion. Spirit, do you want me to ask a specific question? What would you like me to focus on? Okay. Let's see what we got. We have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Yeah, it's like you are purifying your vessel, feminines and masculines. You are purifying your discernment. When you purify your confidence, when you purify your self-esteem to an unconditionally loving, all-knowing, that you are all-knowing and deserving of this profound unconditional love, it changes the way you move through the world. You no longer, I'm just going to ask the question directly to you. What would your life look like if you never needed validation from anyone or anything ever again? Really feel into that. That means no ego. What would it look like to move through life without an ego, only love? Like, actually, I'm not saying like, oh, this is a cool philosophical question. No, what would it feel like to wake up? Okay. You wake up tomorrow morning, your alarm goes off. What would it feel like to not worry about what you look like, worry about what you sound like, worry about how much money you're making or not making. What would it be like to just be in that love, in that profound, burning, unconditionally loving and present love? You might even want to pause this reading and just go and sit or lay somewhere and just feel that. My chest is vibrating right now because it's almost like the vessel can't hold it. And I honor how overwhelming that might be for some of you to really live that way. And what's so crazy is when you do have that spiritual awakening, that moment that transcends all other moments, and you could see clearly through your heart, through your third eye, your connection to source, when you can actually feel an embodied version of that unconditional love and infinite oneness, it will demolish everything in its path. And we get to choose that. And it's very difficult when we haven't felt that in a while, because let's be honest, on the spiritual path of spiritual awakening, it's not like you have this one big awakening and then everything changes. That might be true one time, but you're going to continue to have like all different types of awakenings, micro awakenings, big life-changing awakenings, medium-sized awakenings, and they're going to shift and move you in all sorts of ways. But we have a choice that we can actually create a container, and there's certain criteria that we can be intentional about and put into place to up our odds, to have more, to create a container which those moments of transcendence can actually show up more frequently. It's not like a fluke. It's not just like a random thing. And yeah, sure, maybe people go, turn towards different plant medicines and other experiences to kind of induce those different states. If you feel called to that, that's between you and your God, and sure. But everyone has access to this. It just takes a little nudge to get there. And then we have this leap card. You go first. The universe will catch you in reverse. Yeah, to me, I'm going to put it under this core creativity card. To me, this is again linking to the crisis of confidence. This is absolutely true that when you go first, when you plant the seed, when you choose the seed that you want to plant in consciousness, the universe will move around you, will create a beautiful environment, will give that seed what it needs: wind, water, sunshine. It will gift you what you need in order to grow that. But it's up to you to make the first move. And I understand if this card was in reverse, right? So that process has been stalled because of your lack of confidence. So the name of the game of this entire reading is working on self-esteem. What would support you? I said this two or three readings ago, if all of your wildest dreams could come true, or if a genie showed up at your door and said, I'm not going to just give you 3 wishes. You have an infinite number of wishes that I will grant you, no questions asked. What do you want? Do you know what that is? Do you have answers to these big questions in your life? What are you putting off? What seems too scary and edgy to even think out loud? That's where your territory is. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? All right, we have Starseed. What lights you up? Yeah, and it's sideways. Yeah, it's like a wishy-washy energy. So we're starting to get repeating messages here. I just looked quickly in the unconscious. We have the Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Maybe some of you feel so... Yeah, this is making me sad. It's hurting my heart. Maybe some of you know that you have always been meant for greater things, that you are here to shift collective consciousness towards unconditional love, authenticity, and infinite oneness, but you feel so unworthy and you feel so undeserving of this grand mission that you're pushing this mission into the shadows. Specifically also masculines. I wonder if masculines, you had spiritual career in reverse. That goes hand in hand with this shadow here. What do you feel ashamed about by stepping into some sort of spiritual gift? Part of the holdup with the masculine ascension process is not embracing your inner feminine. Your inner feminine is the access point in which you have all these spiritual gifts, right? The feminine energy is the portal in which ushers in new life between the realm of spirit and the realm of matter. So masculines, what part of your inner feminine are you still denying? What part of your inner feminine are you pushing into the shadows? Because you are called to something greater. You are quite Here, let me hold this up closer. You are quite literally called to ascend. Look at all these creatures ascending, but look at this guy in the corner. It looks like they're weighed down and like they can't really get 1 foot off the ground. And so you're being called. Like, what is weighing you down right now? What's holding you back? Is it pride? Is it ego? Are you scared what people are going to think if you have like a woo-woo gift or a woo-woo career or something? It's time to let it go because it's really holding you back. All right, Spirit, let's get some ascension cards and see what goes on a bigger scale. Okay, I'm not going to take reversals here. We have Shambhala initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, and Dharma. Yeah, again, part of this working on your worthiness and confidence is in retreating from the world and just sinking back in the seat of your soul. Remember the house. You are sitting at your kitchen table sipping tea, and life is blowing through your house, your internal house of the psyche. And then we have stellar gateway activation, infinite potential manifestation vortex. And then we have, I just want to get one more. Sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness, sensuality. Did I not mention tenderness? Did I not ask you all, what could you do to become just 10% more tender? How can you, if you had a tenderness dial that you could dial up and dial down, how can you dial up your tenderness? What is tenderness? What does that feel like in your body? To approach life, to approach a situation, a friend, a loved one with just 10% more kindness, softness, tenderness. In my experience, the more tenderness we dare to allow ourselves to be, to exist in, the more kindness, the more humility, the more presence comes into our consciousness, and the more whole our life begins. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that we include more in our in one moment. It's funny. Sometimes people say this idea between time and space and quality, quality versus quantity. You could have very little time, like clock time in your day, but you have an infinite access to increase the quality of the time you do have. And that's really important. Like sometimes it's not about going wider, it's about going deeper. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's a really important point here. It's really easy when we're living in 3D to think about achievement and acquisition. And to me, it's like a very shallow but very wide. Like, yes, you might cover a lot of 3D ground. Yes, you might have a lot of 3D experiences, but how deep are you getting? And I'm not saying one's better or worse. However, what's coming up in the collective that the collective is confronting is that there's a call for depth here. There's a call for deeper presence, for honing your presencing skills, to bring in that tenderness, to bring in that almost sensual quality, right? What does sensuality mean? It means of the senses, right? So living life with all of your senses ignited, awake, open, and aware of what's happening around you and moving through you. In the unconscious position, we have star being healing codes, important information, wounds are healed, recharging. The other thing too we have to work on is actually trusting that if we finally let go of our wounds, that we will be still worthy. There's Carolyn Mace talks a lot about woundology and how sometimes we get so stuck in on the hamster wheel of dissecting our pain, our trauma, and studying ourselves and going over our childhood trauma over and over and over again. And yes, that has a time and a place, but at some point you have to put it down. At some point you have to stop processing. At some point you have to say, I'm ready for something better and something more. And that's immediately tied, or intricately tied is what I wanted to say, to our self-esteem. Do you feel worthy enough to put your wounds down? Because I get it. The fear is, who am I without my wounds? Who am I without this whole identification system that I created for myself of how I relate to the world around me, or how the world relates to me? This is a big thing because a lot of us get stuck in victim consciousness. And while, sorry, I'm yawning. That's really interesting. Sometimes our body yawns when it needs to regulate something. So I'm wondering who that was for, because it wasn't for me. Yeah. What was I saying when it happened? I'm trying to remember. We were talking about woundology, and we were talking about, who am I? Who would we be without our wounds? And sometimes we get stuck in this kind of victim label, and we almost wear our wounds like a badge of honor. And we want people to know about our wounds, and we want them to know what we've been through and how people have treated us. And because we think that will maybe give us some credibility, or they'll treat us a certain way. But really, all that's doing is keeping you in that limited state of being. So when you're ready to let go of these wounds, another level of consciousness will arrive in your hearts. But you have to believe that you're worthy without these wounds. Okay. I feel pretty complete with this. Let's just end on a Buddha wisdom. Actually, no, I'm going to get an affirmation card because I rarely use these, but I've been trying to use them more. Anything else you want to end on, Spirit? Anything else you want to end on? Maybe not. Let's see. Anything, Spirit? I would really like an affirmation card, Spirit. Can you help me out with that? Yes. Okay. Okay, we have, I am surrounded by positive energy. Create an environment for yourself that makes you feel strong and supported. Take time to personalize your space and find a place for each item, both at home and at work. By maintaining your physical space, you welcome in an atmosphere of uplifting energy in which you are able to foster happiness, resilience, and positive relationships. And then we have my intuition is the perfect guide. We have this old school little GPS intuition system. Trust your gut. There is nothing more reliable than your natural instincts and intuition. Open your third eye and allow it to lead you through your day and in decision making. You are being divinely guided. So part of what we started this reading with was this crisis of confidence. And then you heard me go on a whole tangent about how self-esteem and intuition is directly correlated. It's a binary. When you increase self-esteem, you increase intuition. It's just fact. It's just what it is. It's just how it responds in the energy anatomy, in our anatomical energetic makeup. So again, remember and trust that this is a noble and worthy cause to work on yourself, to build your self-esteem, to start pursuing your own interests, to put yourself first, to make yourself happy, to fill your cup first, to put on your mask first before you put on others' masks, to pursue hobbies and things that light you up, that ignite your soul. This all will contribute to increasing your intuition. And what did I say earlier? When you increase your intuition, you radically increase your discernment in the world. And when you increase your discernment, it's easier to navigate. All of a sudden you have access to like all of this information, like this is a hell yes, that's a hell no, yes, no, yes, no. And all of a sudden you're able to follow this like treasure map of the soul, and you get to move through the world in and as a fully embodied and whole individual. Beautiful reading. I'm sorry it was so choppy in the beginning, but it is what it is. That's the energy. So there it is. I hope this was supportive, and I will see you in the next one.